understand.
Concerted effort to abuse the asylum system, and some have already been deported. Jackie Rowley reports.
The newest arrivals were at Dover docks early this morning. Immigration officials are assessing their applications. 167 have come in since Friday. The gypsies needed valid passports and travel documents, but no visas to get into EU countries. They travelled legally to Britain, where they're claiming asylum on grounds of racial harassment and discrimination. Opposition spokesmen want them sent back to the first safe country they entered, citing the Dublin Convention ratified by Britain last month.
The relevant rule here is the one which allows asylum seekers to return to safe third countries. They have passed through, obviously, a number of countries to come to this country, and in particular they've passed through France. Now what we're saying is there needs to be an application of the rule that asylum seekers could be returned to a safe third country. No one, I think, is saying that France is not a safe third country.
Well, the Conservatives are wrong to say this. Narrowly and legally they may be correct that this can happen, but it's wrong not to look at each individual case on its own merits under the international conventions and obligations. That's what the government is now doing. I think they're correct to analyse each case and test whether each case is genuine or not, given that some people from this part of the world have in fact been persecuted.
The government insists it won't allow Britain to appear a soft option for bogus asylum seekers.
We are adopting a firm approach to dealing with these cases. Some of them will have to be considered on an individual basis, but what we want to be sure is that the message is very clear that if they are seeking to abuse the asylum system, then they're going to go back home.
Kent Social Services claim they've been overwhelmed by the sudden influx. They'll be visited by an official from the Slovak embassy tomorrow. Jackie Rowley, BBC News.
The police complained to authorities to investigate the death of a 17-year-old student from Malvern College in Worcestershire who crashed his car during a police chase. Julian Elwell was killed when his car hit a wall and burst into flames. Jane Stanley reports.
The flag flies at half-mast at Malvern College, mourning the loss of one of the public school's most promising pupils. Julian Elwell from Surrey had many friends at the £12,000 a year boarding school. He'd passed 10 GCSEs and had the final year of the sixth form in front of him.
We're all gravely concerned about this terrible event. Julian was a bright boy, popular, and an Oxbridge candidate.
Julian drove off from outside a pub in Malvern minutes before the fatal crash. The landlord says he couldn't have been drinking there, as town publicans and Malvern College operate a strict proof-of-age card scheme. A police patrol car pursued him at speed along the route home, but on College Road the pupil lost control, ploughing into the wall of his own school. The police say the car had already gone through a red light, with the patrol car very close behind.
Now, there are lots of witnesses still to say, but early indications are, certainly from a witness who saw the crash, that at the time of impact, the police vehicle was within 200 metres or so to the rear of the victim's vehicle.
The pupils of Malvern College are clearly shaken by the death of their classmate. Some will be among the people interviewed during the investigation into the tragedy. Jane Stanley, BBC News.
Police in